When you come down here to visual arts, I think I went past it. There we go. You'll see that there are two things. Here's the link to the instructions and then the link to the portfolio. In a non-pandemic time, what you would do is come in and bring a portfolio of your work and you spread it out on the table behind you and you do a drawing class with us. So what we're trying to do is emulate that as best we can through an online submission. So when you read through our instructions here, you'll see that we're looking to see a range of your work. I would definitely have some of your best work in there, but I would also strongly encourage you to look at a broad range of mediums. Show us that you're willing to try something. If you do something really, really well, and you think it's better to do 10 of the same thing really well, I would encourage you maybe to try some other mediums. I wouldn't recommend that you put in 10 photographs and no drawings, or 10 things that you've done in Photoshop or Procreate or something online and no drawings. Try to have a variety. If you haven't had a chance to do much, start now. Draw what's in front of you. Grab that salt or pepper shaker tray, anything that is still life. Try to draw somebody who's sitting in front of you. Look on Pinterest, look online, get some ideas, follow a tutorial from YouTube, and just start drawing. And then try some shading. Try it in pencil, try it in pencil crayon. Maybe you've got some work that you managed to get done in grade 7 that you could put in to show us that you've got that background, right? Look and try. There are inexpensive, easy things you can try for printmaking, for some mixed media pieces, a couple of photography, but better to have a range, even 3-dimensional work or masks, or some kind, if you have access to some kind of sculpture or paper sculpture, you could try something like that as opposed to 8 to 10 of the same thing. So we are looking for skill, and we're looking for, your ability in the technical medium, but we're also really looking for your potential, your willingness to take risks, your coachability, etc. We have 2 required pieces that we would like everybody to do, and they are the first 2 things that'll be in your portfolio. All right, so I'm going to actually click on the portfolio page now to walk you through that as we talk about them. So since we can't actually have you come in and actually have you spread your work around that we can look at, what we're going to get you to do is take beautiful photos, and there's tips on how to do that. Good lighting, in focus, level, maybe a neutral background. Watch that it's not skewed and crooked. So take your photos, organize your photos, and then you're going to hand us in this digital sketchbook that you're looking at here. So the first thing to do is open this and make a copy, because this isn't editable, and otherwise we'd only receive 1 from everybody looking to audition, which would be crazy. So you're going to go File, make a copy of the entire presentation, and then pay attention to where you save it to, okay? So ahead of the time, you should probably have set up a Google folder in your space for all of your audition work. So you see, here's my grade 8 IAP auditions. I want to save my digital portfolio, my art audition template, into this folder, where, look, you can see how organized I am. I'm getting ready to audition into dance, into productions tech, and into visual art. And I've already made my intro video that everybody has to make, and I'm going to save my copy of the slideshow directly into that folder. So now you could even rename it, your name. Okay, so let's take a few minutes to go through the portfolio together. So this is imagining you've spread all your stuff out behind you and we can look at it. So now we're going to look at it slide by slide in this Google slide. Again, you've already, to make it easier on yourself, have all your photos organized and labeled, and in that same folder where you now have this auditions template for your digital portfolio, and it'll be very easy to just insert the photos right into this slideshow. So the first thing we'll do is just a photo of you, so we know whose portfolio we're looking at, and a couple little quick short answers, and then the 2 required pieces. So the majority of the portfolio will be very different depending on whose work we're looking at, and that's why we ask that every applicant do 2 things that are the same across the board. One of them is a self-portrait, and the other is a circular, non-objective piece. So when you go into the next page, you'll see that this is where we look at the first required piece, the self-portrait. Do some planning, do some research. It'd be ideal if you can do it from observation, not from a photograph, which is really flat. Maybe set up a mirror, look at yourself, and try and draw. If you need help, maybe there's a teacher or a friend that can give you some suggestions on proportion. And if not, if you haven't had a chance to do any of that in school, then I would say look online, because there's a lot of resources that can help you with portraiture and proportions, and how to not outline, and how to shade to model the forms, and a nice full range of contrasts, so dark darks and light lights. How to show the edge of the nose without having to draw a straight line, because you're going to do that in your shading, right? And then this drawing, it should be done in pencil, and we would like to see your skills of observation, of portraiture. It should look like you, hopefully, and that you can shade it well. And then in the background, we would like you to do something that tells us something about yourself. So you can draw that as part of a scene, you can have images, you can have text, but think about what you can put in behind to have a creative element in the background to add some more to the piece that will also show visually some things about yourself and tell us about yourself. As you're doing this and planning it, maybe you're sketching out proportions, maybe you're doing preliminary things of just an eye, maybe you're doing a couple of smaller ones of yourself. Please take some photos of those from your sketchbook and your drawings, and include it here on this page for preliminary work, so that we can see your process. And then when you're finished, of course, take a very nice, well-lit, stable, aligned photo of the good copy, maybe some close-ups as well, and then answer the question of what you think the strength is of the piece. Composition, creative component, shading, texture, concept, in sentences, so that we can see that you can talk about your art. And then the second required piece is the circular, non-objective. So it needs to be larger than 10 centimeters, so no less, right? And then the divided into 5 sections. So a tip I can give you is to think about how you might divide those sections in a creative way. So maybe not so much a pizza pie, maybe some asymmetrical variety of shapes for a total of 5. And then it says non-objective, so that means not an object. So you don't want to fill it up with things. Don't put, I mean, I love my dog, but don't draw your dog and flowers and objects. Draw shapes, patterns, something that's maybe a little more stylized, non-objective. This one is to be done in pencil crayon. We want to see how you can shade using pencil crayon. We want to see how you can show us depth. So in addition to perhaps the patterns and shapes and the overlapping and the variety in size, maybe you look at some how to use pencil crayon techniques to show a full range of tone and also help create depth through the shading in addition to what you've drawn. Again, take some photos of your preliminary work, please, and a good copy, good photo of the final version. And then if you would like to have a couple of close-ups or anything else to say about this, add them on the next blank pages. And with everything you do, you're always going to answer the I feel the strength of my piece is question. And then as you progress through the rest of the portfolio, you'll see that these are the places for you to put your other works. So your drawings, your prints, your sculpture, some photographs, maybe even some digital work. Again, same process, show some preliminary work, finished, good photo, and answering the question. Did you do it at home? Did you do it at school? Maybe it was part of a online club that you meet in Google or Zoom with your friends. Maybe you've done something in the community. It can be from grade 6 or grade 7 or grade 8, depending on what you've had exposure to leading up to this. You do have time now from the point at which you will see this information to when it's due. So if you're feeling like you should have a little bit more for your portfolio, start drawing, start getting online and looking for some things that you can try at home. So you can take some pictures from works already in your sketchbook and include them in. As I said, process, good copy, and then maybe close-ups if that's relevant. If it's a sculptural piece, we would suggest that you have something in it for scale. I'm going to scroll down where you can see here's some blank pages of your digital sketchbook where you could take pictures of your actual sketchbook and put it in for us. And then when you get down to the end of the presentation, you'll see that we have some tips on how to photograph your work, as I spoke to before, and then how to upload it and how to submit it. So we need you to ultimately save everything into your space, your folder, and then upload it directly into the form that you will have access to. We can't have shared files. So if you did have a video, maybe you do animation on your own, or you've done film, or you've done a Photoshop or a digital piece. If it's an MP4, you have to download it and then you have to upload it into the form. We can't have it's for security. So you can't give us a link to a Google folder or a link to a YouTube channel. It's got to be attached into the form where you'll see that space available for it. And then just remember, in these crazy times, I'm sure you're nervous and I'm sure you're anxious, but just think about that like energy as excitement. That is something you really want and you're hoping for, and know that we know that these times are what they are, and that you maybe didn't have the background you were hoping to, but that you're passionate and that you're creative and that you're willing to take a risk and that you can follow some feedback and that you've tried your best. And of course, we're looking for technique, but we know what circumstances you're facing. We want you to, we're on your side. You're not competing against other people for only a certain number of spots. We want to make sure that you're a right fit for us and that we're the right fit for you. We will be here to help you as best we can through these digital means. We'll have Google Meets online where we can have questions and answers. You can contact Arlene or the school if you have any questions. And we're really sorry that all we can do is meet you this way, but we look forward to meeting you this way. And then for visual art, once you've given us a portfolio, we will be scheduling a Google Meet with you. So we'll get to sort of meet you online, probably in a small group with some other applicants where we can just ask a few quick questions and emulate trying to get to know you. So we really look forward to you taking the time to show us the work. It's kind of like a mini holiday season. We get to open all these art presents and see the work that you've taken the time to prepare for us. We know how much work it is. Both my daughters went to Eastwood. One was a visual art major. I've seen the portfolio from start to finish. Bethel's 2 sons, same thing. We know, we've seen it from both sides, and we really appreciate all the time and care you take into creating the work and certainly preparing and presenting and sharing it with you. So thank you so much, and good luck, and we look forward to meeting you in Google.